So you've got a sales page and it's not converting the way you hoped it would be. What are those big changes you can make so you can ramp up your conversions on your sales page or sales letter or landing page or whatever you want to call the million names we've given online? But you know what I'm talking about. Big page, headline, you got something for sale, and you want to make some customers from it. Well, the good news is in today's video, I'm breaking down one person who submitted their landing page, their sales page to me from a Facebook group. I'm going to break it down with a 10-part checklist, giving some copy suggestions, giving some strategy suggestions, and getting really into the emotional benefits so that they can make more sales on the back end with this. And hopefully you can learn from their mistakes, apply it to your sales page, and make a bunch more sales. Hey, my name is Jules Dan. I'm a freelance copywriter with over $10 million in client results. And in this channel, we talk about how to get more customers, how to make more per customer, and how to keep them coming back with the power of the pen. So before I dive into this teardown, into this deconstruct, I just want to let you know that there are so many different ways you can write a sales page. This is just what's worked really well for me. And the tips that I'm giving are from a 10-point checklist from my mentor, Pete Godfrey. He's one of the best copywriters in Australia, and I've apprenticed under him for under 2 years or so, and this is just a very simple checklist to follow. So if you find other templates out there, go ahead, you can follow them, but this is just what's worked for me, and this is what we're going to apply in today's video to make it even better. One thing I need to mention before we get started is that it's a pretty brave thing to just submit your work so you can get critiqued online for thousands of people to see. Yeah, but in this case, I'm just launching, so let's be honest, it's just going to be my mum and dad who are watching this. But you get the picture. This is a very vulnerable thing to do, and I just want to make things very clear. It's much easier to critique than it is to create. And everything I'm saying on this video is all about results. It's nothing about ego. I'm just here to make this even better for this person. And the key thing is, if you decide to do something like this for your business, the one lesson I've learned along the way is get permission from the person that you can actually do this. Because the last thing you want to do is just come with a wrecking ball, piss them off, and make enemies. Kind of like my under 16 basketball coach. Now, Julian, I like your energy, you're really good out there, but you got burned on defense. You only really made 2 out of 5 free throws, and you're really slow to get back on the fast breaks. But you did a really good job, man. You did a really good job. Okay, so enough of the build up. This is the checklist that I'm gonna be going through. There are the 10 steps here. I'm going to be referring them back to them in the critique video, the deconstruct video, whatever you want to call it, and we're going to make this sales page even better.
All right, next up I have Hope Ware. So Hope, thank you so much for donating. Thanks so much for submitting your landing page here. I know it's really brave for you doing that. So again, I'm going to be reading through some of your copy and then we'll give you some suggestions along the way. So let's read this out. Congrats, your free resource is speeding your way right now. Before you go, let me show you the shortcut to getting on the road to frugality. There's a comma, without having to live like a hermit, comma, with never eat out again, or give up the things that you love forever. If you're tired of trying every money-saving method that comes across your path, but at the end of the month wind up saving a whopping 50 cents and were miserable, then check out the Frugality Made Easy bundle. Okay. First off, I think that one of the first mistakes is that it's a little hard to read with the different fonts, long sentences. It's like, where do I focus my attention? There's a massive graphic here, different size fonts. So you might be asking them, what do we actually replace with this part here? Well, I'd actually make it a very big bold font, following the if-then opener like we've done with the other one, and following these 3 steps, something along the lines of, if you've ever gone on a budget, made your family grumpy in the process, and were frustrated to find only less than $10 was saved, so we're focusing on the family here, the things they're probably being used to, that we understand what's going on in their day. What if there's a way you could enjoy a comfortable lifestyle without pain point number 1, pain point number 2, pain point number 3? Well, the good news is if you don't have to put up with all the nonsense people associate with frugality. Introducing the Frugality Made Easy bundle. And then that's when we have this part here. So that would definitely really help out, because the lead at the start, when people first see this, if we can make it very clear, as little copy as possible, then we can hook them into the rest of the part. And that's what we're going to do next. Okay, so let's read through some of your next party copy, what I might suggest instead, and then how we can make this really sexy, this part here. So that way it makes your pricing sound pretty irresistible. All right. Frugality Made Easy is jam-packed toolkit that gives you literally hundreds of straightforward ideas to help you spend less and save more without the hassle of doing all the research yourself. I love this part. And to help you slice through the overwhelm, all the information in the Frugality video resource problem is arranged both topically and alphabetically. I'm not sure this is relevant just yet. For instance, if you need to know how to cut your food bill, you can find videos with step-by-step instructions within seconds. Okay. I would have, say, like a sub-headline here where it's like, cut your food bill, cut your food bill, slash your household item costs, and then like one other thing, and like 1, 2, 3. And then talk about the Frugality Made is jam-packed, that gives you literally, and then talk about that. I would get rid of these 2 sentences. Where you say a $40 total dollar value for just $12, the way I would actually justify price, because you haven't really explained why it's $40 in value, or how it's different from anything else. What I would include is, for the price of lunch, you're just moments away from saving up to whatever it is, $50, $500, $1,000 per year. And then include a testimonial like you've just done here. Perfect. So whenever you bring up a promise, always back it up with proof. So for the price of lunch, you're just moments away from saving $373. So being very specific. Help me win at frugality. I would just be like, start my frugality journey or something like that. Or start saving money. Something like that. Like a benefit right here. A Benny does work. Okay, and this is the part as well, like I said, we have a subhead here. What's next on my list? Talk about the problem, what it means to them. So this is what we're going to talk about next. You said sometimes saving money seems impossible. Let's try and like bring some emotion into it. So let's try and make this painful without being too direct, too finger pointing. So I wrote something like, saving money doesn't have to be miserable. And then you've written, you spend so much time, so much energy trying to cut expenses, and yet all you gain at the end of the month is a stress headache and a few dollars shaved off your bills. Okay, so that's something that might be happening. You just want someone to tell you what you need to do to actually save money without spending hours each week slaving over spreadsheets, agonizing over every purchase, trying to figure out how to make it happen. It feels so tempting to just throw your hands up in the air and completely give up. Let me assure you, after implementing the practical yet impactful changes inside the Frugality Made Easy bundle, you'll see your expenses drop like a rock thanks to... Okay, so I feel like we need to be empathizing a little bit more and doubling down what people think they're missing out on. Especially when we're just introducing talk about the problem, what it means to them. Now, you've mentioned slaving over spreadsheets and agonizing over every purchase. Yes, but then... like, what's the consequence of that? Does that make sense? So I wrote double down on what people think they're missing out on, or the emotional pain that's associated. So saving that money doesn't have to be miserable. Something like going to the supermarket and getting envious of other people's shopping carts, or seeing all this lovely food that they can't afford on TV shows, on Netflix, stuff like that, or going out for dinner with friends and feeling like the outcast who's penny pinching on the bill and you only ate 3 bread. So bringing in heaps of different angles here, like envy, guilt, jealousy, all these things that people associate with not being broke, but are wanting to save money or wanting to be on a budget. They don't want to be in that awkward social situation. Rather than like, spreadsheets is annoying, or agonizing every purchase is annoying, but like, what's the consequence of that? And that's what I would definitely bring up in this section here. All right, so then I've got introduce the mechanism of your thing and always tie back to emotional benefits. So we kind of did that before. So then here's when you would bridge using a subheadline again, something similar to this, something like, so what if there was a way you could put an end to all the frustration? What if there's a way you could, and you flip what they think is real about budgeting frugality into a benefit? What if there was a way you could enjoy all your favorite meals for 90% less than what you think of? What if there was a way you could go out for dinner with your friends and not feel like you're missing out and enjoy fill in the blank? Is that making sense? And then that's when you would introduce, we've already introduced it, and like, this is what the Frugality Made Easy bundle helps you achieve. So how does it do that? And then you go here. You got this stuff, this stuff, this stuff, this stuff. Do you have a guarantee? Let's have a look at your guarantee. No guarantee. So if you don't have one, I would definitely include, because this is an ebook, very low purchase, something like a 60 to 90 day guarantee. It's way better than 30 days. Most of the people who do buy this and they do want a refund, if they do that, they're going to give you really valuable feedback anyway. So don't worry about having a guarantee. It's just going to make the product better. You're going to get better response because people feel like, oh, I can just get my money back. And if your product's good, then we won't really need to, right? So after we've introduced what your thing does, always tie back emotional benefit, mention a guarantee. Now you want to mention some bullets straight from the product, which I believe you've kind of done. You've just sort of, access, let's have a read of this quick. Access to our most popular step-by-step instructional videos alphabetically arranged by topic. That's not necessarily a benefit. That's just a feature. So you can easily find the information you want to know without searching for hours or maybe days. I don't think it'll take that long, before getting started. Okay, so what's the feature? You get step-by-step instructional videos. Okay, what's the benefit? It means that you just get to look at the video once and start saving money that day. And what's the feeling of that? Well, instead of complicating the process and not having a framework, you can make, instead of complicating the process, it makes budgeting fun or makes frugality fun. And then what I would do is every time you bring up, say, like a feature and a benefit and a promise, is that I would back it up with a testimonial. So you've got them scattered throughout here, but every time you make a claim or a promise, try and back it up with proof, a strategic proof. And I'll explain more in just a second how you can make this really better. Okay, so when we're talking about bonuses and modules and stuff like here, so one problem people have, especially when they're really distracted online, is that they'll see this and it just kind of looks all the same. You see, like, the color here is the same. See, 997 value, 997 value, at 1997 value. They'd see that and they might tune out. So what I would do is to break this up is that after resource 1 is step-by-step frugality instructions, I would have a specific testimonial here that talks about someone who's saved money on groceries, gas, electricity, or bulk food. Like, thanks to Hope, I've saved I've saved $97 every quarter on my gas, groceries, and electricity. Thanks. And have that testimonial right here. And then I might have something like resource 2, the frugal home tips for saving money in every room. So I'd have something like little known ways for saving money in every room, guaranteed to slash up to X amount of dollars per year. And then you have this and then back up what you say with a client testimonial. And I'd follow the same process for this part here. Well, you're closing the letter here. This is good. You're closing the letter. It's perfect for you if you've done this, Yep. What do you need to do to get started? What do you get? Okay, we've already introduced this. Yeah, if this was a longer letter, so then I'd definitely include a recap. So something you might just want to do to make it a little bit less overwhelming on the eyes is just to have sort of like a graph with some like checks and like this is what you're going to get. Rather than, because recapping is important, but because we've just done it up here, it might lose them, especially with all the graphics that's going on. Frequently asked questions, I like that. What if I've tried? Okay. Any other questions here as well that might answer objections? Let's see if we can think of some objections. Will I be giving up the things I love? Will I be missing out on, social situations because of this? Yeah, those are some of the big ones. I know you've got some other big objections in your market, Hope. So everything else, list them out and answer them in your FAQ section here. Okay, and to close off, I would definitely include a PS in this letter. You've already done if you're tired of or if you're sick of doing this. So I would say something like, to close off the letter, I would generally have something that uses urgency or scarcity. Now, because this is just a digital product, the best thing we can do is say, like, this is a one-time offer. Like, you won't see this page again. So in the PS, I would say something like, this is a one-time offer. Unfortunately, you won't see this offer again. We only offer this one time or when people opt in or whatever it is. So to avoid disappointment, to avoid missing out, I urge you to please grab this. Okay, Hope, thank you for submitting yours. Remember to go back through this as a bit of a checklist. One of the first things you could definitely leverage is at the start here, is your opening part.
So hopefully you got a lot of value out of this deconstruction. You can apply it to your own sales page. Make sure you check out some of my other videos here as well. I've just launched this YouTube channel and there's going to be a bunch of really cool things like how to do a 6-figure launch with a tiny email list, the perfect pitch at a networking event, how to get insanely good at copywriting quickly. So you can find these 4 videos and a bunch of other really cool stuff coming out in the next few weeks. I'm Jules Dan. See you later.